Thank you very much, and it's a great pleasure to be here and to talk about my company, Amway. And as she was rightly saying, that it's always good to present case studies which are real and live. And purposeful purpose, is very interesting. So in a way that when we talk of purposeful purpose, we are in a way talking about the purpose of HR and the partnering of HR with business. Now, in my own view, with all the sessions that I attend and as panel, as our discussions, I think it's high time for HR community to seal and finally seal that, yes, we are business partners. It's no point, going on getting into, we go on getting into this justification mode of how, HR partners business. It's sealed. Of course, we partner business. Now, coming back to energizing the culture, which is the topic, it's, for all the subsequent slides, and I'm going to talk about this as ETC, energizing the culture. And in my own view, and a strong view that ETC in today's world, even in previous times, but significantly today's time, it is far more important than CTC. So ETC has a great relevance, and it actually determines your CTC in a way, right? So anyway, when we talk of ETC and from when on a cultural point of view, I personally don't believe that there is anything called right or wrong culture. It's what suits us. And when I talk about ETC, it's essentially a very simple way of my own way of defining ETC is essentially when they create an experience, the employee experience, which makes the company the place where people want to work. And that experience where employees want to work in a company, it's not necessarily, there's nothing, in my own years of experience, there's nothing called right or wrong culture. As long as the culture where employees in that company, in a corporate where they want to come and work, that's for me is ETC. That's what energy is all about, and that's what culture is all about. And as I was saying it that, it's every organization is unique. And it's critical to identify the culture that brings the best out of its people in the given environment. And whatever our culture is, be it the leadership, be it the people, be it all of us, we need to own it. We need to nurture it. We need to own it. And there's no point just aping from some organization or some which it should suit your company, it should suit it should suit my company, and it should suit my needs. And that is what, and then most important, as I said before, you own it. And that's what makes that culture live, and that's what makes the culture, throbbing. And this, you may have seen several statistics on this, but no need to, I just wanted to repeat it once more, in the sense that, it's a strategic imperative to have a culture which is then rationalized to energize, and the need to energize the culture is a strategic imperative. It's no more, it's not a HR imperative or a tick in the box for HR fraternity. It's a strategic imperative, and it has to be driven from leadership. And it's from a business point of view. If you ask me, this actually research has shown that many research has happened on that, and one of the research shows that it's it takes up the productivity by 12%, and that has an impact on business. So it's a strategic imperative. And coming to specific to maybe in the next 15-20 minutes, if I can talk about Amway India business case, and just for information for all those who are in Amway India, there's a stall, of course, of Amway India, but Amway India is Amway is world's largest direct selling company, and in India we do about 2,000 crores of business, and we have 1,000 employees on payroll. But because we are in direct selling, 200,000 extended sales force is whom we call as ABOs, Amway Business Owners. Now, Amway India, if you see, the way we define ETC, is very simply focus, fast, and fun. And that is what I'm going to elaborate a little more. It's 3 Fs, focus, fast, and fun. And fundamental to any strategy for us is ABO success. That is in other words, a very, in a common parlance, the business success is what the Amway business owners, if they succeed, the business succeeds and we people succeed, right? And while we have various imperatives like renew ABO ownership or win with experience, but one of the fulcrum to this entire ABO success is energizer culture. And we define it as fast, focus, and fun. And that is what, for us, we have defined, and my urge to people, what is the proposition of culture, and what is it that defines energizer culture or energize the culture for your company? Because it's important to get the basic fundamentals or the basic parameters right on which the entire strategy can then get revolved. And for us, focused is, it's prioritization of initiatives, where employees have a clear prioritization of initiatives, where it's results come paramount, where we are aligned to deliver a total ABO experience. And that's very fundamental. We need employees, we need all of us, the talent, to be focused, and focused to drive results. And whatever it takes from a cultural point of view to make employees focus is what I'm going to cover in the subsequent slides. The next F is fast. And in today's world of complexity, in today's world of uncertainty and the volatility, it's obviously in the agility of an organization is what gives the sustainable edge to the company. And obviously the employees, in our thinking, in our decision making, in that entire environment, how do we create an empowered environment wherein employees are agile in their thinking, in their actions, in their beliefs? And that's the second F that we are referring to when it comes to Amway's Energize the Culture paradigm. And then this is fun. Now this fun need not be, this is not gaming and partying at, there's fun at work, which is very loosely we often say fun at work. Actually, it's important. Fun at work is important, I must say. But when I talk of fun out here, is essentially, it's a little bigger picture. It's essentially, when I say fun, it means that do the employees have the joy and have that feeling to come to a place of work and enjoy working? That's fun. And so these are the three Fs in which we believe ETC can be, these are the pillars for ETC: fast, focused, and fun. Now, how do we translate this strategy and these three parameters to a real case? And that's the case for Amway India, is what I'm going to present now. Now, it's if you see Amway India's, it's a for HR, it is for human resource, and for this fraternity, it is important to have a business case. And if you see, for us, we had actually peaked as a business. And then in 2015, we hit absolutely the bottom because of environmental issues, because of regulatory issues, and there's a lot of issues. So 2015, from 2010, we were actually down, we came. Now, from 2015, now we are going up. And it's 2015 we realized that we need to give a meaning to our setbacks. And it's very important, when you actually come down, how do I find a meaning to my setback? And that is where we realized that what could be a way in which HR can really partner with business to get into this turnaround. And from 2015 to 17 is what I'm going to present or attempt presenting in the next few slides. And first and foremost, in my own view and in my own experience, it is important that we need to set a vision and target for ourselves. And vision for what we need to do, and of course, a vision without a target, for me, in my view, it does not really make sense. And so we had this vision, and it's just not a, it's to do with the fast, focused, and fun. And then we had to do this vision. It's not really a, vision is not, it has to be simple at the same time. It can't be, and it's not a set of fanciful words which, it has to have a meaning, which we need to mean and which we need to practice. So we want to be, for me, ETC is all about employer of the choice, to be an employer of the choice. And where I talk of agility, where I talk of a sustainable engagement, where I talk of high-performing diverse talent, And more important is how passionate do I come to work, which is the fun element that I'm referring to. If you enjoy coming to work only when you're passionate about coming to work, and how empowered I am to deliver that focus, to deliver outstanding business results. Well-crafted people vision and actually drew a lot of world of good to the strategy and the entire plan of actions that we do. And the measurement of success was that we told ourselves that, okay, can we, within our own internal worldwide survey that we do, can we go to the top 5 highly engaged affiliates across the Amway world? So there are about 40 affiliates, and out of that, every country would be an affiliate. So how do I go to top 5? And it's just not important to get recognized internally. Can we become a best employer externally? So these were the measurements of success, and we started tracking on that. And one very important point I would like to submit to this group, that culture and energizing covers all facets of HR. You can't have the razzmatazz of the engagement and the operational excellence is weak. It's important in my view that ETC should cover all facets of HR. When an employee gets his or her salary on time, it is as important as any other element that HR does. So this is something which I wanted to park here, that it covers all facets of HR. It's just not only engagement, or it's just not building capability. It includes capability, it includes operational excellence, it includes talent engagement, and it includes, when people who have manufacturing setup, we have one in India, and it includes world-class manufacturing practices. A sum total of all of this is what actually constitutes ETC, in my view. And so this, I just wanted to give a number, 6 factors to ETC. So I thought that many authors have talked of 7, some have talked of 4. I thought 6 is some number which has got missed out. So I've talked of 6 factors to ETC, right? So it's just on a lighter note. Now, on the first factor, if you ask me, towards this is providing growth opportunity. It looks very simple, but it's not. This is actually, if you ask me, if you read all the research that happens, people don't leave. It was an earlier paradigm that people leave because of bosses. Actually, nowadays it's all because of growth. Mainly the U35, mainly the millennials. It's all about growth, and providing growth opportunity is, if you ask me, is a factor 1 for me. And for Amway, right grade for each role. I'll just explain to it, but overall, it is 3 P's. It's performance, it's potential, and it's position. And position is what I'm referring to. While we have top talent, we call it in various names, iPod, hyper, various names we call, but it's the top talent we call, which we need to identify, which we need to differentiate. But it's also important that we have a truly robust performance management system. But here, to the point on this, which I'll come back to performance management a little later, but right grade for each role. What it means is that, if today it is not, the myth of one level each promotion actually does not stand true for Amway. What it does is that, suppose today I am at grade 15, and I qualify for a role which is grade 18, actually we mean it. We actually give you grade 18, because it's assumed that if you have qualified for it, don't give it in steps. It makes no meaning if you ask me. If I am 15, at whatever grade I am, whatever nomenclature we put, and if I have qualified for 3 levels up, or if I qualify for 2 levels up, go for it. Give it to the person. So that's the meaning. That's what I say is it's right grade for each role. And last 2 years, from 15, and then the last 2 years, actually, we have seen 354 as such elevations in a pool of 100,000 employees. It's 354. People have got elevated, right? And for us, fundamentally, and while of course, we attract the best of talent, but this is my own submission that more and more we focus on our own employees to take leadership levels. And my own take on that if I go to the external market, I may get someone who has a skill set of X, which we need. For internal talent to move, even if this is my own personal view, You know, even if you are at 80% or 85%, give a preference to the internal candidate. That's my own view. You don't need to go at 100 because anyway, the people who come from outside, you know, eventually you will end up seeing that they may not be at 100. That's a different point. But I'm saying from a promoting the internal talent, even if you are at 80 out of 100, promote. And for that person, that this own fundamental belief, actually in 2017, 53% of all our budgeted jobs and vacancies got internally promoted. And in my own view, 2018, we should see more of these. The second factor, which if you ask me is one of the most important fulcrum of any culture, is fairness and transparency. Extremely important in my view. And this word fairness, you know, it's a quite a global word. You can interpret it in various ways, definition of fairness. But personally, I believe that it's a little black and white, if you ask me, if you think through. You know, it's one of the fundamental fulcrum to fairness is performance management system. Performance management system is not just 2 pages at the end of the year where you do a review. You know, it's actually one of the most fundamental elements of fairness in any organization. And for us, for example, you know, it's and also what you measure in performance, right? So for us, it's predominantly, so it's into 2 parts. One is what, that gives you bonus, and what is how, that gives you merit increments, that gives you promotions, that gives you, goes to the top talent. And it's important that all employees feel fair at the end of the calibrations, at the end of the reviews, and this whole process of performance management system is an extremely fundamental. The whole world of HR can get disrupted, but I can assure you performance management will still remain in some form. You know, it's important, and some of the, you know, I can go on this, but I'd rather not go. But it's actually, it's performance management is, in my view, not to settle scores with teams. It's to do with real, you know, you mean it. We should mean it. We should actually, and even if someone, you know, the fairness, the concept of fairness is just not, you know, your team. Is the concept of the entire organization should feel a culture of fairness. And one of the pillars, as I said before, is performance management system. The more robust, the more transparent the PMS of an organization is, the more fairness it brings to an organization. And, you know, it's also this is fairness is also, it has to go even beyond. So, for example, we have a microsite, you know, which is in one of the portals. And there is no compulsion to go into that. But what is important to, if you have to go in that, is essentially that people who want to join should also know what they're getting into. And that is why it's important to invest money, invest time, to make these sites for external employees or prospective employees, because they should also know what your policies are. They should also know what your people are talking about. And that we did, and that's also the extended definition of fairness when you're actually hiring talent from outside. They should know what they're getting into. And you know, very small things, but very powerful things. For example, this internal job posting, it can be, you know, it's there in many organizations, and I'm sure it's there. But can we make a rule that any job, you can necessarily, before we start the search, go for a job posting? And actually, do not form biases of people who apply. It can be applied provided you have the skill set. Merely applying in a job does not mean that you get the job, but at least as a rule, fundamentally, can we have these basics right? And that's where I say that it's just not the razzmatazz which makes energy. It's also these operational excellence which brings in a lot of energy in the organization. And internal job posting, for me, if people should perceive fairness in terms of, yes, I can apply for any job, irrespective of, you know, it does not matter how close I am to head office. You know, I can sit in Northeast and still apply. I can go in Madurai and still apply. That's very important. It's very important to bring this culture, in my view. And these were some of the pieces which we really drive hard as a culture, as a value system. And that, to my mind, is truly an epitome of a sense of fairness that it gives to the employees. Similarly, awards. or rewards. Rewards is not a black box that HR operates. Huh? It's essentially it's my salary. I should know what my salary is. And this visibility in total rewards is something which I believe you have to be really transparent. And the other side is you don't have to be transparent for the other salaries. Be transparent to yours, to the person's salaries, So, but it's very important. Whatever I give as a CTC or whatever I give as a remuneration, I should know my salary. I should know there is nothing in my belief. There is nothing called a hidden component in a salary. Right, and it's not a very mundane kind of a piece. You can make it fun. You can make it, the communications around all of this can be a lot of fun. It can have a lot of energy, by the way. These are not rigmarole kind of exercises. If you can do, one can really do well. Similarly, it's like town halls. We call it Connect. Connect is essentially, we have a strategy called Amway Next and Connect. So we clubbed it and put it as Connect. Now, what is important is that in last 1 year, 2017, out of 12 months, we had 11 such sessions where all employees of Amway come together. And it's a very live, electrifying session. And it's essentially where we all connect together and we discuss strategies and we discuss suggestions. It's open. We may not have answers to employees, but we should have this 11 such sessions. And we went beyond. We said that, okay, even if in some forum, if you're really not satisfied with something, go and talk to the CEO directly, reachmyceo.com. And our CEO, we had committed that we will give you a response in 48 hours. And we actually mean it. Factor 3, building capability. We have 7 platforms of building capability for people. At any point of time, employees should feel that and get that yes, I have these 7 platforms in which I can get my capability. Some of these I can take. So it ranges from internal talent, internal faculty, from external to some of the very specific brands that we created. And some of them, for example, build your own timber. Best form of leadership is which you groom within, which I shared before. Hire people not only from premier colleges. There's nothing called premier, non-premier. Every college has its own merit, right? Hire from colleges, but yeah, put them at grades where it fits. And it's just not management trainees. You get engineers for the plant. You get summer interns. You get business trainees for the fields. And build this timber. And that helps, if you ask me. And that, of course, goes with our own strategy of U35 leadership. Similarly, coaching. We got certified, we went into a coaching which is a Grow Consulting, which is a US-based organization. And we got some of our top talents, got certified as coaches. And it's not only helps them, but it also builds an organization towards coaching. Leadership excellence, these are global programs where it is, and obviously in building capability, you should have tiers. So if you are a top talent, you should have some differentiator. So this is one such differentiator where 2 or 3 people from India can go across, and get into a program. There are many more such programs, but one shadow board is so there are some like Big Leap, which is about for the top talent, where it is an 8-month training program, and shadow board, for example, is something where we identify talent and they are actually part of those boards in terms of truly decision making, and we call it shadow board. So you actually get live in decision making and the entire process. Similarly, Learning Academy, which is our internal faculty, which is over 600 employees gets covered. It's also important to get the coverage as well for employees. It's very important. I think there was one session where it's not a fad to have gender diversity. It actually helps the business. And it's important to recognize the power of women, and it's also important to have policies and practices which essentially builds women in the organization. Factor 4, which is we take care of you and you take care of the business. And then don't wait, make people policies ahead of time. Make as much comfort and policies, and it's not important that the government brings out maternity. You can do it before that also, right? So I'm just saying that as many policies, we take care of you. Don't worry about things which you just focus on your role. And while it's easy, but it's not. So, but then go into as many kind of progressive policies which aids employees to do their job better, and they keep less worrying about themselves and their benefits and perks. Similarly, in the plant where we have shop floor people, they are also equal and a more important role. They have an equal role, if not more, in the business, and have a different kind of set of HR practices which suits the shop floor people. And there's a huge set of such practices, but mainly in our plant, it is important because we have a large section of women employees. A lot of focus is done on security and the employee safety. And that's a very, very fulcrum of our world-class practices in the plant. The factor 5, rewards and recognition. Obviously, it's as far as possible, make as many kinds of recognition possible, but also make sure that people get recognized. Don't feel shy of recognizing people. And obviously, in today's world, you have to go digital. That's what we are going. And it starts from very simple thank you cards to various levels of rewards. And it is in parallel to your compensation. And more we go focus on this, lesser would be the pressure on comp, actually, if you ask me. And the last but not the least is factor 6, which is fun at work. And it, of course, it has to have various kinds. We are a health and nutrition company. We focus on our own employees' health through various forums, and many of our products, which are world-class products in terms of the health and nutrition, we ensure that employees get it at every floor. There's a counter where we keep our products. And similarly, of course, there's a lot of engagement that happens across these various forums. I'm sure we have it in most of the companies. But my only submission is whatever we do, we should really do it well. And that makes the point. And similarly, this is a very new one which did outside-in perspective, where we get speakers of absolutely from different worlds. And they're big-time celebrities in their own fields. How do you draw lessons from them? And that's the outside-in perspective that we started. So these are the various suites. And this is all, of course, this also is as an element of fun at work. Where are we today? It actually should mean to the business. We have the lowest attrition. Employees have been there with us with the best and the worst of times. It is just not important. Both are important. We have the right talent pipeline. We have engaged employees. And these 4 bubbles, if you ask me, that's where the partnering is all about. And yes, we had a score. If you recall, we had a target. In 2014, we were at 74 engagement score, which went up straight to 88 in 2016. And similarly, we participated in a great place to work. Obviously, it also progressed. And 2018, our own score target is greater than 90. That means more than 90% of the people should feel sustainably engaged. And this, of course, I thank this forum as well. There are a lot of awards that we won, which was a testimony to all the work that we did, which is obviously a reflection of energizing our culture. And this is my last slide. This is a very, very, very favorite slide of mine. You can have the best strategy and the best building in the world, but if you don't have the hearts and minds of the people who work with you, none of it comes to life. And honestly, this is where I end, and this is what I actually mean. Thank you very much. Any questions, I will be happy to take. Thank you.